You think Malaysia is paradise because of those travel blogs showing pristine beaches and cheap street food. Let me stop you right there. Malaysia isn't what your Instagram feed is telling you. There are some brutal realities waiting for you that nobody talks about. And number one will absolutely shock you. Write in the chat if you want to know what it is. Before you book that one-way ticket, you need to know the 10 reasons why living in Malaysia might actually drive you insane. I'm not here to sugarcoat anything. This is the truth that expats discover after their honeymoon phase ends. Let's start with something you'll notice within your first week. The humidity will literally feel like you're walking through a wet blanket. Malaysia sits right near the equator, which means humidity levels range between 70 to 90% year-round. Think about that for a second. 90% humidity. Your sweat doesn't evaporate, it just sits on your skin, making you feel sticky and gross all day long. When humidity is that high, your body can't cool itself properly through sweating. Health experts in Malaysia are now warning about wet bulb temperature threats. Recent reports from June 2025 showed that when temperatures hit between 31 and 37 degrees Celsius, combined with humidity above 90%, it becomes genuinely dangerous. You're not just uncomfortable, you're at risk of heat exhaustion or worse. Your clothes never fully dry. Mold grows on everything. Your leather shoes, your bags, even your walls will develop this fuzzy green coating if you're not constantly running dehumidifiers. And those dehumidifiers, they're running 24/7, which brings me to another problem. Your electricity bill is going to make you cry. Air conditioning becomes non-negotiable, not a luxury. You'll spend anywhere from 100 to 300 ringgit per month just trying to stay cool enough to sleep. The heat doesn't take a break. No cool autumn breeze. No refreshing winter mornings. Just relentless, suffocating heat and humidity every single day. Locals are used to it. You'll be that foreigner dripping sweat at 9 in the morning, wondering what you got yourself into. Now let's talk about something that'll waste hours of your life every single week. The traffic in Kuala Lumpur is absolutely nightmarish. We're talking about one of the most congested cities in Southeast Asia. Data from 2025 shows that traffic congestion costs Malaysia's economy 20 billion ringgit annually. That's billion with a B. The average commute time in Kuala Lumpur is over 41 minutes, but that's just an average. If you're traveling during rush hour, which runs from 7 to 10 in the morning and 5 to 8 at night, forget about it. A 10-kilometer drive can easily take 45 minutes to an hour. Some people spend 2 to 3 hours commuting daily. When it rains, which happens a lot because tropical climate, the traffic becomes completely paralyzed. Major roads around KLCC and Jalan Ampang come to a complete standstill. Vehicles don't move for 30 minutes or more. Imagine sitting in your car, engine running, air conditioning blasting, just staring at brake lights while your gas tank empties and your patience evaporates. Over 71% of Kuala Lumpur residents rely on cars for their daily commute. The infrastructure simply cannot handle this volume. The government is studying congestion charges, similar to London or Singapore, but nothing's implemented yet. For now, you're stuck in gridlock. And here's the kicker. Public transportation exists, but it's inconsistent and often unreliable. Buses don't follow schedules, they show up late or sometimes don't show up at all. The connections between different train lines and buses are poorly integrated. You might live near an MRT station, but still need a bus to get to your actual destination. And good luck timing that connection. Many expats end up buying cars out of sheer necessity, which just adds more vehicles to the already clogged roads. Here's where it gets interesting for those of you thinking about settling down. Property ownership in Malaysia as a foreigner is complicated and expensive. Each state has different minimum purchase prices, ranging from 1 million to 3 million ringgit. Let that sink in. You need to spend at least 1 million ringgit, which is roughly 225,000 US dollars just to be allowed to buy property as a foreigner. And it's not just condos. You can't buy landed property in most cases. You can't buy agricultural land. You can't buy Malay reserved land. You're restricted to strata-titled properties like apartments and condos, and only if they meet the state minimum price threshold. Want a house with a yard? Too bad, unless you're under specific programs like MM2H and meet their requirements, you're stuck in high-rises. But wait, there's more. As of 2025, foreigners now pay a flat 4% stamp duty on property purchases, regardless of property value. Add that to legal fees, valuation fees, and other closing costs, and you're looking at an additional 5 to 7% on top of your purchase price. Buy a 1.5 million ringgit condo, add another 75,000 to 105,000 ringgit in fees. The process itself takes 4 to 8 months. You need state authority approval, which can take 3 to 6 months alone. You need a Malaysian lawyer. You need to prove you can get financing or pay cash. And after all that, owning property doesn't give you any residency rights. You still need a proper visa to actually live there. The MM2H program used to be a great solution, but they've made it much stricter with higher financial requirements and mandatory property purchases. Let's talk about work permits and visas. If you're thinking you'll just move to Malaysia and figure out work later, you're in for a rude awakening. The work permit system is complex, expensive, and frustratingly slow. Employment pass applications can take anywhere from 2 weeks to 3 months, depending on your category. And the fees? They increased dramatically in 2024. Employment pass applications now cost 2,000 ringgit, up from 800. Here's the really frustrating part. Approval rates are shockingly low in certain sectors. The manufacturing sector reports only a 0.55% approval rate for foreign labor applications. Even in industries desperate for talent, the bureaucracy is overwhelming. Your employer needs to justify why a Malaysian citizen cannot fill the role. They need quota approvals. They need to provide extensive documentation, including your academic certificates, employment letters, company financial records, and more. Categories matter too. Employment Pass Category 1 requires a minimum 10,000 ringgit monthly salary. Category 2 needs 5 to 9,999 ringgit. Category 3 is 3,000 to 4,999. Each category has different validity periods and different benefits. Miss the requirements by even 1 ringgit per month and your application gets rejected. And here's something that'll really annoy you. Processing times vary wildly. Even with the same visa type, some applications take 3 days, while others take 7 weeks. There's no consistency. Your employer is responsible for most of this process, so if they drop the ball or don't have experience with foreign hires, good luck. Many smaller companies simply won't hire foreigners because the hassle isn't worth it to them. Healthcare for expats is another minefield. Yes, Malaysia has good hospitals. Yes, healthcare is cheaper than Western countries. But here's what they don't tell you. As a foreigner, you don't qualify for the subsidized healthcare that locals get. Malaysians pay between 30 to 80 ringgit for a general consultation at a public hospital. You're paying the full unsubsidized rate, which can be significantly higher. Most expats end up using private hospitals because public hospitals give priority to Malaysian citizens. Long wait times, language barriers, and limited English-speaking staff in some areas make public facilities less appealing for foreigners anyway. Private healthcare is excellent but expensive. A specialist consultation at a private hospital runs 150 to 500 ringgit. Hospitalization is 250 to 800 ringgit per night. Surgery, like an appendectomy, can cost 12,000 to 30,000 ringgit. You absolutely need private health insurance as an expat. It's not optional. Basic plans range from 100 to 500 ringgit per month, but that depends on your age, coverage level, and pre-existing conditions. Speaking of which, most plans exclude pre-existing conditions or impose long waiting periods before they're covered. Got diabetes? High blood pressure? Expect limitations or higher premiums. If you're on an employment pass, your employer might provide basic insurance, but it usually only covers emergency hospitalizations and basic outpatient care. Anything beyond that, you're paying out of pocket or buying additional coverage. MM2H visa applicants are now required to show proof of comprehensive medical insurance as part of their application. No insurance, no visa. And dental care, vision care, mental health services, those are rarely included in standard plans. You'll pay extra for those benefits or pay out of pocket entirely. Mental health services especially are almost never covered by private insurance in Malaysia. Now let's discuss something that affects daily life more than you'd think. Language barriers are real, even though Malaysia is technically English-friendly. Yes, many people speak English, especially in Kuala Lumpur and Penang. But English proficiency drops dramatically once you leave major urban areas. Government offices, local banks, smaller clinics, and service providers in suburban or rural areas often have staff with limited English skills. Bahasa Malaysia is the official language, and it's what you'll encounter on most official documents, signage outside major cities, and in local communities. You might think you can get by with English alone, and in some areas you can, but it creates a dependency. You'll always need someone to help translate documents, explain procedures, or communicate with service providers. The frustration comes when you need to handle bureaucracy. Immigration offices, land offices, local council offices, these places operate in Bahasa Malaysia. Forms are in Bahasa Malaysia. Verbal instructions are in Bahasa Malaysia. Unless you hire someone to help or get lucky with an English-speaking officer, you're lost. This isn't like Singapore, where English is one of 4 official languages and everything is bilingual. In Malaysia, English is a second language, not an official one. Even in professional settings, switching between languages is common. Malaysians code switch between English, Malay, Mandarin, and various Chinese dialects constantly. Group conversations can leave you completely lost when everyone switches to Malay or Mandarin to explain something more easily. It's isolating when you're the only one who doesn't understand what's being said. Learning basic Malay helps, but Malay has 10 different dialects. The Malay spoken in Penang differs from Kuala Lumpur, which differs from Sabah. It's a difficult language for foreigners to learn well enough to handle complex situations. Most expats end up in a weird middle ground where they can order food and handle basic pleasantries, but can't navigate serious matters independently. Let's talk about something that'll surprise you. Public transportation reliability is a major problem. Yes, Malaysia has MRT and LRT systems. Yes, they're expanding, but the reality is these systems are plagued with disruptions, limited coverage, and poor integration. Rail disruptions dropped from 252 incidents in 2022 to 31 in 2025, which sounds great until you realize that still 31 times your commute got completely derailed. Most disruptions are short, under 15 minutes, but some extend to 30 minutes or longer, and when a line goes down, the backup plan is usually chaos. In November 2022, 16 LRT stations between Ampang Park and Kelana Jaya shut down for a week due to automatic train control system malfunctions. Almost 200,000 commuters were stranded. Emergency bus services were provided, but they were overcrowded and slow. The bigger problem is the bus network. It's unreliable to the point of being almost useless in many areas. Buses run late, don't follow published timetables, skip stops when full, and drivers take breaks whenever they feel like it without warning. Routes with high demand often can't accommodate everyone, leaving workers stranded at bus stops, unable to get to work on time. The integration between different modes of transport is terrible. You might take an MRT to a station, then need a bus to your final destination. But the bus schedules don't align with train arrivals. You end up waiting 30 minutes for a bus that may or may not show up. Pedestrian infrastructure is awful too. Poorly designed walkways, lack of covered paths, and dangerous crossings make walking to transit stations unpleasant or outright dangerous. Compare this to Singapore, where public transport runs like clockwork, or even Bangkok, which has better bus networks. Malaysia's public transport is improving on paper, but in practice, it's still frustrating. Most people end up relying on Grab, which gets expensive fast, or buying their own vehicle, which throws you back into the traffic nightmare we discussed earlier. Cultural adjustment is harder than you think. Malaysia is a multicultural country with Malay, Chinese, Indian, and indigenous communities all living together. Sounds great, right? It is, but it also means navigating complex social dynamics, religious customs, and unspoken rules that can trip you up badly if you don't know them. Islam is the predominant religion at 63.5% of the population. This affects everything from business hours during Ramadan to alcohol availability to dress codes in certain areas. Public displays of affection are frowned upon. Certain topics are sensitive, and discussing them openly can get you in trouble, or at minimum, make you extremely unpopular. Race and religion are touchy subjects in Malaysia. Bumiputra policies, which provide special privileges to ethnic Malays and indigenous groups, affect property ownership, business ownership, university admissions, and more. As a foreigner, you're navigating a system designed to prioritize certain groups, which can feel exclusionary. It's not directed at you personally, but you'll definitely notice it. Social integration can be challenging too. Malaysian friendships and business relationships are often built over long periods. Breaking into established social circles takes time and effort. Expat communities exist, and they're helpful, but they're also bubbles. You end up socializing mainly with other foreigners rather than truly integrating into local Malaysian society. Work culture in Malaysia is different from Western countries. Hierarchies are more pronounced. Saving face and indirect communication are important. Direct confrontation is avoided. Decisions take longer because they go through multiple levels of approval. If you come from a culture that values directness and efficiency, you'll find Malaysian business culture frustratingly slow and opaque. And here's something practical that'll annoy you daily. Banking and financial services for foreigners are restrictive. Opening a bank account as a non-resident is difficult. Most Malaysian banks require proof of local employment or residency. Without an employment pass or valid long-term visa, many banks simply refuse to open accounts for you. Even when you do open an account, you'll face limitations. Transfer limits, online banking restrictions, credit card applications requiring higher deposits, or being outright denied. Want to invest in local markets or property? You'll need specific approvals, and your foreign status complicates everything. Malaysia has currency controls. While they've relaxed over the years, moving large sums in and out of the country requires documentation and can trigger scrutiny. If you're earning money overseas and sending it to Malaysia, or vice versa, you'll need to keep detailed records and potentially provide justification to Bank Negara Malaysia. Foreign exchange rates and conversion fees add up too. Every time you convert money, you lose a percentage to spreads and fees. If you're living in Malaysia but earning in another currency, you're constantly exposed to exchange rate fluctuations that can significantly impact your budget. Now here's the big one. Number 1, the thing that'll shock you the most. Are you ready? Malaysia has a hidden cost of living problem that nobody talks about. Honestly, yes, local food is cheap. Yes, rent is lower than London or New York, but that's not the full picture. The problem is that living in Malaysia as an expat costs way more than living as a local. Import duties on foreign goods are high. Want familiar brands from home? You're paying double or triple. Electronics, certain foods, clothing brands, even basic household items cost significantly more than what you'd pay in your home country. A bottle of wine that costs $10 in Australia might be 30 ringgit or more in Malaysia because of import taxes and alcohol duties. Those nice running shoes you like? Add 50% to the price. Western-style groceries are expensive. Shopping at international supermarkets like Ben's or Village Grocer, where you can find imported cheese, cereals and snacks, will shock you. A box of cereal can easily cost 20 to 30 ringgit. Fresh mozzarella? 40 ringgit. These seem like small things until you realize your monthly grocery bill is double what it should be because you keep buying imported foods. International school fees for children are astronomical. Sending one child to an international school in Kuala Lumpur runs anywhere from 30,000 to 90,000 ringgit per year. That's just tuition. Add uniforms, books, activities, and transportation, and you're looking at potentially 100,000 ringgit per year per child. Local schools teach in Bahasa Malaysia and follow a curriculum that might not transfer well if you move back home. So most expat families feel forced into international schools. Healthcare insurance, property prices, car costs, visa fees, all of these hit expats harder than locals. A Malaysian buying a 300,000 ringgit apartment gets stamp duty breaks and subsidies. You're paying full price plus the foreigner stamp duty surcharge. A Malaysian financing a car gets better rates and terms than you will as a foreigner, if you can even get financing. Real property gains tax hits foreigners at 30% on any profits from selling property within the first 5 years. Malaysians pay lower rates. You're penalized for being foreign at every turn. The cost of living looks cheap until you factor in all these hidden expat taxes, and suddenly you're spending way more than you budgeted. And here's the real kicker. Salaries for expats aren't always proportionally higher than what you'd earn back home. Yes, some multinational companies pay well, but many positions offer salaries that seem good in ringgit. But when you convert it back and factor in all these extra costs, you're not actually coming out ahead. You might be treading water or even losing money compared to staying in your home country. The Malaysia My Second Home program used to solve some of these problems by offering long-term residency, but the 2024 revisions made it expensive and restrictive. The silver tier requires a minimum offshore income of 40,000 ringgit monthly, liquid assets of 1.5 million ringgit, and a fixed deposit of 300,000 ringgit held for 10 years. Plus, you must purchase property worth at least 600,000 ringgit and hold it for 10 years minimum. That's a massive financial commitment. Cost of living comparisons online are misleading because they focus on local living standards, not expat lifestyles. Sure, you can eat nasi lemak for 5 ringgit every meal and live cheaply. But most expats aren't willing to completely abandon their lifestyle and dietary preferences. That middle ground where you're trying to maintain some familiar comforts while also enjoying local culture, that's where costs explode. So there you have it, 10 brutal truths about living in Malaysia that the travel bloggers conveniently forget to mention. The suffocating humidity that never ends, the soul-crushing traffic that steals hours of your life, the complicated and expensive property ownership rules, the bureaucratic nightmare of work permits and visas, the expensive healthcare system for foreigners, the language barriers that isolate you, the unreliable public transportation, the challenging cultural adjustment, the restrictive banking system, and the hidden cost of living that makes Malaysia far more expensive than advertised for expats. Does this mean Malaysia is a terrible place to live? No, it has incredible food, beautiful nature, strategic location in Asia, and genuinely warm people. But you need to know what you're getting into. Come prepared. Budget realistically. Learn some Bahasa Malaysia. Get comprehensive health insurance. Save extra for all the hidden costs. Understand the visa requirements before you arrive. Research property laws thoroughly. Malaysia can be amazing if you set proper expectations. But if you show up thinking it's going to be a cheap tropical paradise where everything is easy, you're going to be disappointed fast. Real talk. Now you know. If this opened your eyes, hit that like button and subscribe. Drop a comment telling me which of these 10 shocked you the most. And if you're already living in Malaysia, tell everyone what I missed. What other challenges are foreigners not prepared for?